I think there's three reasons. Firstly, there is the emotional, the cultural ties that bind the United Kingdom together. I, for example, am Scottish and I'm also British, and I'm proud of being both, and I don't see why I've got to choose. And if you look at the Olympics in the summertime, it didn't change things in the last few weeks or anything like that, but it brought to the surface, I think, something that was already there, a very powerful bond between the nations of the country. Secondly, we have more influence as the United Kingdom. You were in the Security Council of the United Nations, we're major shareholders of the IMF, we're major shareholders in the World Bank. In the European Union, it's the large countries that actually call the shots. And the final thing, the most important argument in many ways in bread and butter issues, and that's the economy. We are better together because there are no barriers to trade north and south of the border. If you take the financial services industry in Scotland, for example, a lot of what it sells, most of what it sells is into England. So there are very, very powerful arguments for staying part of the UK. I think the mistake the new government made in 2010 was to, firstly, trash confidence by saying the UK was like Greece, so we couldn't pay our way, which is absolute rubbish. These comparisons are ridiculous. I think the second mistake they made was to assume that they could eliminate all the problems we had in a 5-year period. And the real problem is that if you have a policy of austerity, first and foremost, it's never going to work on its own. And growth has been killed off, which means you're borrowing more, your debt's going up. At the moment, the government appears to have run out of ideas as to how to get it going again. Well, I think it's nonsense, the idea that we're better off leaving the European Union. Just as I think Scotland is better off as part of the UK, I think the UK is better off as being part of the European Union. That doesn't mean that we're not an uncritical friend of the European Union. We're not going to join the eurozone. I think there are big issues if the eurozone moves from simply having a banking union to preserve their currency and the rest of it to introducing rather protectionist measures, and that would be a problem. But I think the majority of people, and the majority of opinion in this country is that we are better off as part of the European Union. Of course, there will always be people who don't like that. People who believe that Britain could return to some bygone age where we traded with the rest of the world and not Europe. I just don't think that's realistic. I think the issue is more complex than that. Greece should never have got into the eurozone. It just is not a comparable country to Germany or France or anything like that. If you look back at the whole formation of the euro and the eurozone, it was a political project first and foremost. It wasn't an economic project first and foremost. And the politics dictated that they should get in as many people as possibly wanted. Now, that was a mistake.